Selamat sejahtera, nama saya King Sungkit dan kumpulan saya akan membentangkan tentang topik computers and the internet. Before we begin, let's ask ourselves, what's a computer? Computer is an electronic device or machine that can be programmed to carry out sequences of arithmetic or logical operations automatically. Walaupun electronic computers ni boleh dikata sebagai relatively new yang kita guna pada hari ini, but the need for computation is not. The earliest device for computing is actually the abacus, or in other words, a sempoa, dalam bahasa Melayu, abacus, invented during the Mesopotamian era around 2500 BCE. It's essentially a handheld operated calculator that has the ability to add, subtract, and even store the current state of the computation, much like computers we use today. The first substantial computer was the ENIAC machine, stands for Electrical Numeric Integrator and Calculator. It's the first programmable general-purpose electronic digital computer. It was built during World War II by the United States in 1946. Yes. It was so big that it took 164 square meters of floor space. Moving on to the history of Internet. By definition, Internet means an electronic communication network that connects computer networks and organizational computer facilities around the world. 1969. The first ever message was sent from one computer to another is over the ARPANET, which was the US government's computer network at the time. ARPANET stands for Advanced Research Project Agency Network. The computers were about 567 kilometers apart from each other. It was sent from a research lab in UCLA to Stanford University. Then 9 years later, in 1971, Ray Thomason invented a mail system that can send mail back and forth between users of ARPANET. This would eventually be called as electronic mail, or email as we know today. During the same year, Vinton Cerf invented a way to introduce computers across the globe to each other in a virtual space, which is called Transmission Control Protocol, TCP, then followed by IP, which is Internet Protocol. In the 1990s is where Internet actually began. Tim Berners-Lee invented the World Wide Web in 1989. This wasn't just a data sharing space for just scientists anymore. This was an entire network of information that is accessible to anyone with an internet connection. Then came along with the creation of web browsers throughout the 1990s. Honorable mentions are Urwise, Mosaic, and Netscape Navigator. And that is all from me. Thank you.
A very good day I bid to you, miss. My name is Tang Wei Han. Matrix number 01DDT20F1092. So the topic I cover today is input device, output device, and storage. So let's look at the input device first. Input device is hardware that get data into computer ready to processing. So the processing involves taking raw data and turning it into useful information. And the main function of input device is to direct commands and data into computers. Computers then use their CPU to process this data and produce the output. So here's the example of input device: mouse, microphone, keyboard, joystick, and webcam. So next, let's take a look at the output devices. An output devices is a piece of computer hardware that receives data from a computer and then translate that data into another form. That form may be in audio, visual, textual, or hard copy such as print document. An output device receives data from the computer. Here's some example, which is monitor, headphone, speaker, projector, and printer, and so on. So last but not least, it's about storage. Storage capacity is no longer dependent on the physical capacity of your computer. There are many options exist to hold your file while saving storage space on your computer, phone, or tablet. So if your device are running slow and out of space, you can offload a file onto a physical storage device, such as external SSD, HDD, thumb drive, and optical storage, like CD and DVD. So at first we look at the cloud. Cloud is a server housed in the data center around the world. So next, the SSD is offering up to 8 TB of storage, and HDD is offering up to 20 TB of storage. So we look at thumb drive. The advantages: typically removable, rewritable, and much smaller than optical disc. And optical disc like CD and DVD or Blu-ray is more like used to store the music or videos.
Nama saya adalah Puan Junwei from BINTI B3. Cam entry number saya adalah 01 20F1058. Hari ini saya nak terangkan tentang kebaikan dan keburukan internet. Yang kebaikan internet adalah yang first satu adalah maklumat tidak terhad. Internet dikatanya sebagai harta maklumat dalam talian. Maklumat yang tidak berkesudahan mengenai topik apapun seperti perkhidmatan peradangan, maklumat pasaran, berita terkini, pendidikan dan lain-lain terdapat di internet. Yang kedua adalah bahasa komunikasi. Internet membantu orang berkomunikasi antara satu sama lain melalui platform maya seperti email, persalinan video dan lain-lain di mana-mana bahagian dunia. Yang ketiga adalah hiburan. Permainan dalam talian, menonton filem dan mendengar muzik kini merupakan sumber hiburan yang paling biasa. Yang keempat adalah perkhidmatan dan memberi belah dalam talian. Internet mengubah senario memberi belah di seluruh dunia. Seseorang boleh mengakses laman web untuk menjual atau membeli produk ataupun melalui internet, dan juga boleh memindakan wang secara dalam internet. Bahagian keburukan internet yang first adalah persaingan sosial. Adalah internet telah menjadi kehidupan orang lebih mudah, tapi di sisi lain. Yang kedua adalah jenayah cyber. Dengan sejumlah besar maklumat yang tersedia secara bebas, masalahnya penyiaran guna dan pencuri meningkatkan secara besar-besaran. Yang ketiga adalah tidak selamat untuk kanak-kanak. Disebabkan pada masa ini, kanak-kanak tinggal di dalam rumah di hadapan komputer dan internet. Mereka berhenti melakukan aktiviti fizikal sehingga menyebabkan kegemukan, perkembangan kemainan interpersonal yang buruk, lamanya penyakit lain. Yang keempat adalah ketagihan. Pelajar menghabiskan terlalu banyak masa di internet dan mengabaikan pelajaran mereka. Mereka terus menonton filem dan berbual dengan rakan-rakan mereka, sehingga kehilangan tumpuan dan kemampuan untuk menyelesaikan kerja rumah, dan makan pun tidak tepat masanya.
Assalamualaikum and hi. My name is HALIDA binti HOLIDIN and I will continue for education the role and function of MCMC, which is Malaysian Communication and Multimedia Commission, or it's been called Suruhanjaya Komunikasi and Multimedia Malaysia in Malay, SKMM. And as you see here, this is the logo for MCMC or SKMM. So I will start with the MC's role. At the time of its inception, the main role of the Malaysian Communication and Multimedia Commission was to regulate industry regulation based on the power enshrined in the Malaysia Communication and Multimedia Commission Act 1998 and the Malaysia Communication and Multimedia Act 1998. In carrying out this act, the role of the Commission is to implement and promote the government's national policy objective. for the communication and multimedia sector to all around the people in Malaysia. Members of the Commission are also involved in overseeing the new regulatory framework to focus on the telecommunication, broadcasting and online activity industries. Next, the function of MCMC. First, the function of MCMC is to advise the Minister on all matters relating to national policy objective specific to communication and multimedia activity. Second, implement and enforce the preparation of communication and multimedia laws. Third, regulate all matters related to communication and multimedia activity that are not enshrined in communication and multimedia law. The fourth one is consider and propose reform to communication and multimedia laws. The next function of MCMC is to control and monitor communication and multimedia activity. Next, to encourage and promote the development of the communications and multimedia industry. And the last function of MCMC is to encourage and promote deregulation in the communication and multimedia industry. Actually, there is a lot of other functions of MCMC, but I'll just give 7 of them.
My name is Lee Sing Ru, matrix number 01DDT20F1072 from class DDTP3. We are now living in the digital era where almost everything is done using technology. Since their invention, computers are increasingly gaining popularity not only for individuals but also in many organizations. Many people have seen a computer and many own at least one. Since it was introduced to the public, the computer has completely changed how people do things and think, while the internet has changed our attitudes and our communications with each other. The computer and internet remains one of the greatest inventions ever made by man. They make work easier for many people and make communications easier. Many people term technology as the necessary evil. People get so used and comfortable that they forget how life used to be without these two blessings. Many know how hard and inconveniencing it was without computers and the internet. Almost everything has its advantages and disadvantages. It's up to us to decide how we want technology to work for us and makes our life easier. Your decision on how you want to use the tool can either make your life better or make you a slave of the worst things. Thank you for watching.